Welcome to 108 Gates. We are looking at the Divine Feminine reading because I hope you are well. Here we go. Protection. This is coming in with a loving, divine, gentle reassurance that there are things that are happening right now, possibly, which are going to need your attention. They require you to be attentive to your self-care, attentive to feeling good about yourself, attentive to making sure that your basics like hydrated, well fed, all that stuff. And I know it sounds very basic, but even if you need to give yourself that extra boost with herbal teas or supplements or things like that, it will be beneficial, because it feels like there's a lot of pressure on the nervous system. There's a lot of pressure on emotions. There's a lot of emotions being shuffled around, and that is a way in which the nervous system can kind of be shook up. Just take it as it's coming. Don't if you're not feeling it, then don't feel compelled to feel it. Basically, this does feel again like a very deep reading, shall we say. I did say a few weeks ago that I could feel him going deeper. I can feel him going into places where everyone's not ready for these particular kind of conversations. So kind of let yourself be truthful about where you're at. Let yourself feel where you're at, and making sure that you're aware that you don't have to be where someone else is. Protection. So it's really coming into your space. Like I said yesterday with the Divine Masculine, I didn't even get to do the Divine Feminine reading. It was just the energies were so raw and intense, and for those of you who watched it, I could feel that. I think you kind of understood some of the rawness of it. So the Divine Feminine, it just felt, just give it a rest for a bit, just give it a break, give it some time to settle. So again, now today the Divine Feminine, feeling that similar kind of energy of things being quite intense, quite raw, I want to say again. Resignation. Say goodbye to what you no longer need. Now that's all well and good, saying say goodbye to what you no longer need. The thing is, to be able to have that goodbye to what you no longer need, it has to on some level come up and out. So that process again is quite raw. It's quite it's making things feel fresh again. And I know I say it probably often, don't re-wound the wounds that have healed, but this is kind of the wounds that have not healed, or that have been lingering because it's been too difficult to face them. They may be feeling a bit raw, they may be feeling a bit reactivated, or a lot reactivated, depending on where you are with these things. So going through this process of understanding that this is kind of inevitable, to do this deep cleanse, this deep purification, being very gentle, compassionate, loving with yourself, and remembering that you are your top priority, remembering you are your first priority, and anyone who's demanding something of you right now, or demanding certain things from you right now, that they're gonna have to just turn their face the other way, or you turn your face the other way. It's not selfish, it's not insecure, coming from insecurities or anything like that. It's simply preserving your energy fields. It's making sure that you're not taking on anything additional to what you're already dealing with. And it's going to be, for those of you who are in this space, in this process, it's coming up in the reading as something that's going to be beneficial to you in the long term. And I think you know that, and you can feel that if it's resonating, because you can see and feel and sense how deep it's going, how far back it's going, how it may also be picking up energies from past lives or ancestral things like that. So I think you're really feeling the deep dive. You're feeling the deep, the rawness of this process. Compassion, again, like I said, and it's coming in quite as a confirming energy, and making sure you have compassion for yourself, making sure you're being gentle with yourself. You're giving yourself what you need. Nobody else's needs are your concern at the moment. If you have the capacity, then you would and you could. But if you don't have the capacity, not forcing yourself to have the capacity. And if you're going through this right now, it just feels like anything extra, it's just too much. The sensitivity, the hypersensitivity, the need for peace, the need for quiet, the need for stillness, the need for calm is more important than getting stuck into someone else's drama or someone else bringing mayhem to you. It's like just hold your horses, keep it at the door, and just turn the other way. I'm not ready for it right now. I'm not available for it right now. So right, so we have here the Fool. The feminine Fool is different to the masculine Fool, because the masculine Fool had bats and some other creature, kind of, I don't know, I shouldn't judge the creature, but it didn't exactly look, it looked like bats and the creature. I'm not saying anything more than that. Right. So the feminine one feels a bit more at ease. It feels a bit more gentle. It feels a bit kinder. So, and there's a flower, there's what looks like possibly seagulls, birds, whatever, ticks, I don't know. But the thing is that the serenity, especially the little dog, if that's a little dog, the little being there's a different feeling to it. There's a serenity to it. And there's, I know I was saying serenity was coming up a lot a few readings ago. And that serenity is because if you're taking that time now to say what you need, or just basically tell yourself what you need, protecting your auric field, protecting your mental capacity, protecting your resources, protecting your time, protecting your energy sources, resigning, say goodbye to what you no longer need. That process is so deep, that what you no longer need is like moving a tree, uprooting a tree, a really long sitting tree, which is interesting. I saw a tree uprooted yesterday. Weird. Anyway, compassion. Tread a little more tenderly. So making sure you're sticking to those, like a rule for yourself of like, when you're doing certain things, am I the top priority? Am I my first priority? Making sure you are your first priority. How am I my first priority? Who is my next priority? And then aligning it that way. What is my next priority? And kind of getting into a new habit of putting yourself as a top priority. Getting into that new habit of making sure that you are first and foremost the one that you're taking care of first. The clarity around this then provides you with the resources, it provides you with the energy, it provides you with everything you need, more than everything you need first, to clear out the stuff that you no longer need. But the thing is, the things you no longer need have caused so much destruction and frustration, disappointment, and this, that, and the other. You need more than just through this moment. You need to be building your resources of being compassionate with yourself, because the healing that's required after this, the time to yourself and all that stuff that's required after this is really dense. It's deep, and it's not that it's going to be elongated and over a long period of time. It's just that the more you're willing to go and get this all cleaned out and cleansed out, the more commitment you're going to need to actually being available for yourself. Hence compassion. Increase compassion. If you need that extra rest, if you need that extra time to just sit and be quiet, you need that extra time to give yourself love. Finding new ways of offering yourself that loving care, offering yourself that time on your own, me time, we time, if there's people that you feel like you need to spend more time with. It feels like there's certain things that are going to be healing in response to some things that weren't healed. if that makes sense. What I mean is there's certain things that are going to be healing within you, but that means it'll also be an opportunity to heal things with others who weren't on such an easy ground with. And it's not necessarily that all of it will be healed. It's very particular in who you're going to be healing things with. So it could be that you neglected certain things or rejected certain things, and you're only noticing it now, or you only see it now. Therefore, where you were diverted from this healthy relationship, diverted from the healthier way of being, that will now take on the nurturing. That then will now be healing. Your relationship with your higher self, your relationship with you, that will now go through a process of healing. You need compassion for this process. You need that extra volume of self-love, self-care, resources, all that stuff to let that happen, because there's a lot of forgiveness that is required here. There's a lot of different version of a self-talk that's required here. You need to have that capacity to feel the emotions, because if you can't feel the emotions, you haven't gone deep enough yet. And therefore the Tower coming in, like I said, feeling the emotions, and that process alone, saying goodbye to what you no longer need to allow in what you do need. The Tower moment coming in, and I can feel my voice being significantly slower than what it has been in most readings, because it just feels like it needs that kind of tenderness. I'm not tracing or tempo, like having my voice at a certain tempo or anything. Is I can feel it coming out in a particular way, so that it's appropriate for the reading, appropriate for the energy, being calm. So for example, if you were looking after a baby, you wouldn't want to be shouting, you wouldn't want to be raising your voices, you wouldn't want to be doing certain inappropriate, like unkind and rough things. There's no need. So just being really kind and gentle, as if you're talking to your inner child, as if you're talking to a child. And even when they child does something that's not that great, or it's kind of not like silly or whatever, it's just when they're making a mistake, or they're doing something that could be dangerous for them, it's just making sure that you're talking to that inner child, talking to that child in a way that they understand that you're not in trouble. It's a safety issue. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just that right now this is not safe for you. Therefore, we need to just stop, recalibrate, regroup, and understand that as we go forward, this is how you do this in a safe way. This is how you do this in a calm way, so that you can stay safe and I can make sure you're safe. That kind of vibe. The inner child, the younger you or smaller you, may be needing some love and care. If you have children or pets or a loved one, they may be going through something where their inner child needs some love and attention and care. But this is where you're going to realign and put yourself in a position where you can see where the priorities are and see where they were not. If someone was bleeding you of your time, energy and effort, you're going to put a stop to it. You're going to make sure you're refocusing and making sure that the priority is yourself first, so that you're able to help and support those who need real, genuine, sincere help and care right now. There's a lot of vulnerability here. So the pace is very slow, it's very determined, it's very decisive, it's very gentle, it's very in your own time, and at the same time making sure there's progress occurring. The progress isn't about speed. The progress is about depth. The progress is about that willingness and acknowledging that things need to change, things need to shift. Getting quite upset is quite a deep energy. Enough is enough. I know I've said that a while back. Enough is enough, and I'm feeling that same energy again of enough is enough. If you can't support what I'm doing, if you can't support how I'm doing it, then you know where you can go. I'm going in a different direction. Please leave me alone. Letting the Tower fall where it needs to, letting the clarity come in of where you need to be bringing in more love, different ways, different spaces. There you go. Empress overseeing this, leave it alone. That can go. That can be done with. Tower. I'm going to stay away from that right now because it's so deep. This is only a general reading. If this is flashing, I do personal readings, but I'm going to not go any deeper if that can help it. Let's see what the cards come up. Try and focus over here. It's just really layered. Again, another opportunity for extended reading, and in time that may happen more often. So Two of Wands over here, back and forth, changing things out, shifting things out. I remember saying a few readings ago, it may have been yesterday or the day before, not that long ago, that the Seven of Coins was showing where certain things, Seven of Coins or something like that, Seven of Coins, where certain things were being swapped out. So instead of planting the same thing, the same misery, the same crappy this and crappy that, taking that out and planting a new coin, planting a new intention, planting a new way of doing things. So the Seven of Coins is shifting what then you will be growing as an Eight of Coins energy. Therefore your Nine of Coins, Ten of Coins is going to be different too. So here we got the Three of Cups. Like I said, this in this deck, most often than not, and right now it's feeling that same thing of what you have accumulated, what you have managed to salvage from whatever it is you've had to say goodbye to. It's like, let that go, but then letting the healing in, and what you've managed to salvage in this time as like a prospectus of where you're aiming for or where you're able to go with what you have right now, and making sure that you're utilizing that, stacking them up, and making sure that you're understanding that there's still a level of fulfillment regardless of where people try to tear you down, regardless of where people were sucking you or your energy dry, regardless of where you've been in the past year or lifetimes or 10 years, whatever, however long it is for you, wherever it is that you've just gone into that same loops that are not allowing you to be good to yourself, that which block you and create blankness, and like kind of blank out where you need to actually take care of yourself. All of that can just be let go of, and then reclaiming all of that, reclaiming that love for yourself, reclaiming that peace for yourself, reclaiming the higher good for yourself, reclaim trust in yourself. It may sound like a bit of a boring reading, but it's really, it's essential on some level. Two of Cups, bringing yourself together, bringing your true intentions for yourself. Like, we get distracted from where we're heading, we get distracted from what we should be doing for ourselves, we get distracted from how we should be doing it from ourselves. So like I just said, I even put my hands together, like coming back to yourself, reclaiming your own wealth, reclaiming love for yourself, reclaiming your ownership of being able to put yourself as your top priority, your main priority, and then after that what you feel is appropriate, and actually trusting to go ahead with that, as opposed to someone coming in and barging in. It feels like the energy feels like it's barging in and saying, you need to give me attention, you need to do this when I want it. No, I don't, and no, I won't. There you go. So you got the World, rejigging the way you see the world, rejigging the way you are behaving in the world. Then therefore you're transmitting a different energy. If you don't have the time for certain things, you don't have the space for certain things, you're not going to just put up with it anymore. It's more to do with you putting yourself as a priority and actually saying, I haven't got time for this, I haven't got time for this. Your priorities are shifting and changing in a way that even you may be surprised. Not to get angry with yourself at this, because you might find that you've put a lot of time and effort into things that weren't actually they weren't actually gaining anything, you weren't actually achieving anything, and that sounds a bit rough, But what I'm trying to say is there's this that's been neglected for so long. You might start seeing evidence of, like, I should have actually put more attention into that than this. I should have put more attention into maintaining that, sustaining that, and instead of doing this, like, why was I doing that? Why was I involved in other people's tower? Why was I doing certain things around this, that, and the other? It's like there was no need for it. At least you know now, and try and get some peace from that. Try and get some solace from that. At least you know now. And here comes the Ace of Pentacles. What have you learnt from this process? What have you gained from this process? What can you now aim yourself towards gaining more and appreciating more, and then heading in a new direction? And the clarity of this is going to empower you tenfold, 20-fold, 100-fold as you move forward, because your emotions will be different, your perspective will be different, your attention will be different, your flow will be different. And as you reclaim more and more of yourself, you reclaim more and more of your original authentic path, which actually is aligned with your higher self, you'll find it easier to do. And then it's almost as if some of you will catch up with yourself, if that makes sense. So where you felt like you've pulled yourself back, you let yourself down, and then you let others let you down, and then this, that, and the other, you're going to be catching up with yourself. That would be beautiful. Keep going, keep going. Look at that. Page of Cups, second Page of Cups. New ways of loving yourself and expressing it. New ways of loving yourself and doing it, being it. Provide yourself that love. I've just noticed the reading is on its side. I'm not going to do this again. I'm putting it up. This is us rejigging. This is a new perspective, a new way of seeing things, new way of moving. So apologies for it being on its side, but I'm going to make sure I put this reading up because it's really powerful. There's a lot of energies running through it. There's a lot of, I think, empowering messages, if we can hear them correctly, in this reading. So I'm still going to upload it. Seven of Cups. Choose the correct thing for you. The priorities. Where are your priorities? Focus on them. Increase your value. Increase the value of what you're doing. See the value of what you're doing. When you put yourself as a priority, when you put yourself as number one, see and feel the value of that. Expand your arms, expand your heart, expand your mind into that. I am putting myself as my top priority, my first priority. Therefore, I'm excited to see how things will shift and change. And what I mean by that is, even if you are your first priority now, those times when you weren't your first priority, when you weren't your top priority, those things are the things that are going to start shifting and changing, and those are the things that you have to say goodbye to. Gratefully say goodbye to for some of you. So for now, I'm going to bring this to a close here and go to the Divine Masculine reading. So again, hope you're well. Hope you are riding this wave of Mars going through Capricorn, and we're in the middle of 15 degrees of Chiron in Aries, so it really is feeling like this surge of removing certain things, retweaking certain things, realigning certain things, healing certain things. Wounds that haven't healed are kind of coming up to the surface to be healed, cleansed, purified. And so there's a lot going on. Be gentle with yourselves. And so until next time, peace and love.